eat. So for our first one, what is your favorite place to eat at, either on campus or in the Blacksburg area?
Yeah, so I think definitely Carol Lee Donuts is my favorite.
Ooh,
Such a fan. Part of my wife's Christmas gift to me this year was a gift certificate. So yeah,
that's incredible.
yeah, I'm a big fan of that place for sure.
And then a follow-up question is, what should I order while I'm there?
Personally, my favorite I think is the toasted coconut donut.
Oh, yum.
Yeah,
Okay.
everybody's got a different one, but that's yeah,
All
that's
right.
my favorite.
What do you normally have for breakfast?
Usually I'm a big coffee drinker, so coffee's super important. And usually it's like fruit or yogurt. I don't eat a lot of breakfast, but
Yeah.
also drinking a lot of coffee on an empty stomach's not such a great idea either. So you gotta have something. Yeah.
What is the best advice you think that you've ever received?
I This is tough. I think for me personally, I have a tendency to kind of get super detail oriented and only focus on minutia sometimes. So I think like don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Yeah, I think that's a great one because sometimes we can get so caught up in something being absolutely 100%, whereas like maybe 97, 94% would be great, so yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. What is your biggest pet peeve?
And I'm guilty of this too. We all are, we're all juggling so many different things, especially right now. But I think sometimes when people like say, "Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that," and then it doesn't happen for whatever reason with no follow up, just when folks are unreliable. And I understand things come up, but just give somebody a heads up. Like we're going to have to change what we thought was going to happen. I think that's perfectly fine. But just when there's like you're counting on something and it doesn't come through and there's no communication, I think can be a little irritating.
How does Oop Prosum show up for you?
Yeah, so that's one of the things I really love about Virginia Tech and also my job at Virginia Tech, our commitment to public service and engagement. And part of my job with the university libraries is providing leadership for our community engagement programming. And a lot of times, or the parts that I really enjoy about that, are working with K-12 groups. So folks that, might be thinking about going to Virginia Tech one day for school, but it's years off, and maybe they might never come to Virginia Tech. But one of the things that I really enjoy about working at a land grant university, I've worked at, private universities, other places, and they didn't have that same commitment or mission to serve all the citizens of their state, right? So I think it's really important that we work with everybody, even if you're not going to end up being a Virginia Tech student. That's still super important. So, yeah, just engaging with the public, especially I really enjoy working with K-12 groups and kids. And importantly, I think like helping decrease barriers to access for folks too, for all the citizens of the Virginia Commonwealth, I think that's super important.
What are you currently listening to?
Yeah, so this was tough. I'm a big music head, so I tried to narrow it down. But most recently, the past couple of days, I've been listening to one of my favorite bands is a group called Little Dragon, and they just put out a new record. It's kind of a breakup record, which is a little weird because that's not where I am mentally. But it's still a really good record. It's called what's it called? I think New Me, Same Us. And then a friend of a friend just put out a record. His name's Quelle Chris, and it's called Innocent Country 2. I like that one a lot. He actually just animated a video for a guy I grew up with, so it's kind of cool. 1 degree of separation, I guess. But that one's it's kind of art rap, but it's I like it a lot. And then finally, we're not really in the listening stage, but just to plug it, we're working on the Virginia Tech Digging in the Crates Hip Hop Studies at Virginia Tech mixtape that's going to be hopefully, keep our fingers crossed, going to be June 1, it will be out. So yeah, so we're working on that. And that's been really interesting because everybody's doing it remotely, whereas before we had studio hours in the library every Friday where people would come in and work in person, but now we're all doing it at home. So yeah.
Nice. What
Yeah.
brings you joy?
For sure. I think lots of things, but most importantly, especially right now, I'm appreciating it even more because it's more difficult. But spending time with loved ones, friends and family, people I've known for a long time, and have really deep relationships with is really nourishing for me. But also like creating, and my mode of creation that I typically do is DJing. I've been doing that since 1997. So gosh, I guess way over half my life at this point, which is weird. But yeah, so that's something I try to do, I guess at least about an hour a day, just to kind of get my blood flowing. So those are the things that I really, really enjoy.
Nice. What is your dream vacation?
So my wife and I were married. We got married in Antigua in the Caribbean in 2013. So we try to go back every 5 years. So it's something we kind of look forward to. We just went back in 2018. So I guess we'll hopefully, knock on wood, go back on 2023. So yeah, so that's really exciting. It's a beautiful place. Culturally, it's really interesting, and everybody's really friendly. Yeah, so that's our favorite place, I think, to go on vacation.
If you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be?
Oh, this was tough. I had to think about this one for a while, but one of my mentors passed away a couple years ago, and his name was Millard Watkins, and he was he was a member of my fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and he was also a jazz saxophonist and uh, postman, insurance man, did all sorts of different stuff over the years. And he was somebody that I really looked up to and would try to talk to at least about once a week. He was married to his wife for, I think, 62 or 63 years and just had all sorts of incredible advice and wisdom. And I find myself, past few years missing him a lot. So I'd really appreciate the opportunity to get to break bread one more time with Millard. His nickname was the Dean, so everybody called him Dean. But yeah, that's probably who I would pick. That's tough. That's a really tough question. That's a good one.
Well, what would you all have at dinner? What would be the
Oh man,
at your
jeez, that's a really tough question too. Probably. So Miller lived in Richmond, so we would probably want to go someplace in Richmond, and I'm thinking maybe Croaker Spot is a really good restaurant.
I'm a
Yeah.
Richmond native, so absolutely.
Yeah.
What is the last movie or show that made you laugh?
Oh man, I'm a big Curb Your Enthusiasm fan, and so I just find myself I put my foot in my mouth a lot, and do embarrassing things. But then whenever I watch that show, I'm like, oh, I don't have it that bad. At least I'm not as bad as Larry David, right? So.
On the flip side, what is the last movie or show that made you cry?
Oh man, so I would say probably Black Mirror, the San Junipero episode. That one was really pulled at the heartstrings. It was really just beautiful. Yeah, probably that. And it's not as scary and like anxiety is inducing as the rest of that series. It's a nice it's a nice change of pace. Right.
What are 3 words that you would use to describe Virginia Tech?
I think community, I think that's super important. That's one thing I really love about Virginia Tech is, people say like Hokie Nation or whatever, but there is like a sense of community. And I've been traveling places, across the country, other places, and you run into somebody that's wearing some tech stuff, and there's automatically that connection. But also on campus, and locally, there's a great sense of community. I'd say either like service or engagement, because I think that's a big part of our identity as an organization, as a university, from the motto on down, And then lastly, I think creativity. I've met so many creative people that are affiliated with Virginia Tech in one way or another. So yeah, those are my 3.
Thanks. How would your best friend describe you?
That's a good one. I would probably say, if they were frustrated with me, probably hard-headed. If they were happy with decisions I made lately, maybe tenacious. I think like once I get my mindset on something, I'm pretty much I'm gonna try to either find a way or make one. And sometimes I think that can be a little irritating to those around me. But who knows? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Yeah.
Who do you call when you need life advice?
That's That's tough. I would say either my wife, because a lot of the choices I make and my wife directly affect the choices that she makes in her life, so that's always a good sounding board talking with her when I need to make a decision, right? A big decision. And also, I think my dad, my pops, somebody I go to a lot for advice.
What is your favorite time of day?
I would definitely dusk. I think like right as the sun's setting, I like that. It seems really calm and peaceful, and I enjoy sunsets. So yeah.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, this is tough. Lately, I guess just with all the uncertainty and not knowing what's going to happen 10 minutes from now, it'd be kind of cool to be able to see into the future. Kind of see what's going to happen. Um, yeah. So that's for right now. If you ask me a couple of weeks from now, I might ask for another one. But yeah, right now, probably the ability to see the future.
What is a song that you can listen to on repeat?
So there's this jazz musician. He's actually from Richmond, Lonnie Liston Smith, and he's still around. I think he's like in his mid 80s, but he put out this record in the late 70s called Expansions, which I really really like. It's kind of like I don't know how to describe it. I guess like up tempo spiritual jazz banger. Like people used to play it like in nightclubs in the early 80s and stuff, and like I DJ for breakdancers every so often. I'm the advisor for the breakdance club on Virginia Tech's campus, and like you can still play it in that setting, so it's kind of cool also that he's from Richmond. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Uh-huh.
This is probably the most controversial question. Window
Okay.
or aisle seat?
I'm window, strong window. I know there's definitely disadvantages because once you're sitting next to the window, you're kind of stuck. But you also get the view, and you're guaranteed at least one armrest. Unlike in the middle seat. So yeah, window.
How do you start your day?
Um, I guess coffee's super important. so that's one thing that I gotta have every day. And I try to take some time if I can, just to think about what I got to do that day and just kind of relax and not rush. Because I find if I rush in the morning, if I wake up late or something like that, then I'm always struggling to catch up, right? So just try to take a little bit of time for reflection if I can.
All right. What is one thing that you wish students knew about the library?
So this is kind of a cheat answer because there's so much. So I thought, all right, well, instead of like, well, here's one service we offer or anything like that, instead kind of think about the library, if you're a student, about like being the plug or connector for whatever you need, right? So like if you need research help, we can help you with that. We can help you either on chat, or if you when we can go back and be together in person, go to the help desk on the second floor. You can go there. Or if you need like access to a studio, a recording studio, or say you need like DJ equipment to check out for free if you want to make a mixtape or something like that, you can do that. Also like projectors, video cameras, all sorts of stuff. My favorite price, free, right? For 5 days, you can get all this equipment. It's totally free. Just show your Hokie P and you're good to go. Or if you need a job, right? Like if you're looking for a student job, and what I like about a lot of the student jobs is you get to pursue a passion or creativity. They're hiring folks to work in the studios, to help people with 3D printing, all sorts of different things. Even I have, I guess, a team of about 9 students that works with me, and we go and do media literacy workshops out in the community with kids, all sorts of different stuff. So yeah, so kind of whatever you need as a student, the libraries can help you out. So that's the one thing I wish people knew, right? Because yeah, it's really cool as a student, in the mid 2000s, or mid 1950s or whatever that was. The library has changed a lot, and it's been really cool to watch that growth and that kind of evolution. So yeah, I'm super excited to get to work there.
All right, dogs or cats?
That's tough. We don't currently have a dog, but also like growing up, I had a dog who was probably pretty close to my best friend, RIP to Ginger the Cocker Spaniel. So I would say both. And I know that's a cheat because we have two cats, Jackson and Nicholas. You might have heard Jackson screaming outside the door during this interview. I don't know. Hopefully not. But yeah, it's hard to pick. I mean, they both have their pros and cons, but yeah, both.
All right, then for our final question, if you could sing a duet with one person, who would it be?
Probably Mark Morrison's "Return of the Mac." Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I could probably handle that. I'm not much of a singer, but I think I could get through that one.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Craig. I'm gonna need to go back and write down some things to add to my Spotify playlist, especially with Richmond's own, because again, it's Richmond. So
Right.
I'm always down for artists that come from Richmond.
Right on. Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you for the opportunity. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.
All right. You too. You take care. Okay.